So we'll begin. Om Ajnantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsta Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtadade Shatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So before we start to discuss Harinam Chintamani, I thought we'll just speak something about Advaita Acharya. Today is the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. So it is a very, very important occasion for all of us. So Advaita Acharya is one of the Panchatattva. You can see in the Panchatattva, Advaita Acharya is with a beard, white mustache. So he's one of the oldest devotee. In fact, the scriptures explain that Advaita Acharya was older than Lord Chaitanya's father also. He was very old personality. So much before Lord Chaitanya invented, Advaita Acharya came. So who is Advaita Acharya? This Panchatattva, each of them represent one energy, one Shakti. So Advaita Acharya is Lord Vishnu himself, and he is also Sadashiv. He is the combined incarnation of Vishnu and Shiva. So the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that during those times in Navadvip, when Advaita Acharya appeared, much before Lord Chaitanya, Navadvip, although it was supposed to be a seat of devotion, but too much materialism had come out in Navadvip. You know, people were just engaging in all sorts of material enjoyment. They would spend crores of rupees for marriages. In fact, they would have marriage ceremonies of dogs. You know, and in this way, they would just keep spending, wasting of their time. So Advaita Acharya had so much compassion for the suffering souls. So he prayed to the Lord, even though he is Lord Vishnu or Shiva, and he could himself deliver. But then he was very humble, and he felt that I don't have the power to deliver these people. So Advaita Acharya, he would worship Shaligram and Tulsi. He would worship Shaligram with Tulsi and Ganga Jal, because the scriptures explain that one of the easiest ways to please the Lord is by worshipping the Lord, especially the Shaligram, with Tulsi and Ganga Jal. So Advaita Acharya, with tears in his eyes, he would loudly cry out. So when Advaita Acharya would cry out the holy names, it would be like a lion roaring. He was that powerful. And by sincere prayer, he prayed to the Lord that, oh Lord Krishna, you only have to descend to deliver his people. And by the prayers of Advaita Acharya, the Supreme Lord Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Advaita Acharya literally dragged that Supreme Lord. You know, his cry penetrated the material coverings, reached the spiritual world, and dragged him down. And that is the reason Lord Chaitanya appears. So Chaitanya Charitamrita explains various reasons for the appearance of the Lord. One of the reasons is the prayer of Advaita Acharya. So if it was not for Advaita Acharya, we wouldn't have Lord Chaitanya, the Sankirtan movement wouldn't be there, nothing would happen. So even though the credit of the Sankirtan movement and the Yuga avatar is Lord Chaitanya, but his appearance was caused by Advaita Acharya. So today is the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had so much respect for Advaita Acharya because he was senior by him by age. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would always offer respects to Advaita, sorry, to Advaita Acharya. So he had great respect for this personality. So much before Lord Chaitanya came, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur, both of them together would wait and pray for the Lord to advent. And something interesting is, Advaita Acharya didn't start the Sankirtan movement till Lord Chaitanya came. They were just waiting for him. Even Nityananda, very soon is Nityananda Trayodashi. Even Lord Nityananda, even though he's Balaramji, he didn't start the Sankirtan movement. He was doing his Tirth Yatra, and after doing Brahman of all the holy places, Nityananda went to Hampi also, after doing all these holy places, he went and stayed in Vrindavan, Nityananda, waiting when Nimai Pandit will become Lord Chaitanya, will become a Vaishnava and start preaching. As soon as Lord Chaitanya inaugurated Sankirtan movement, Nityananda came and joined. So something very important is that Advaita Acharya and Nityananda both are showing that without the blessing of the Lord, you don't even start the Sankirtan movement without the mercy of Guru. So Advaita Acharya is so humble. He is thinking himself helpless. He is thinking that I don't have the power to deliver these people. Krishna, you only have to come. Sometimes as preachers, we feel that I have the power to deliver others. If Advaita Acharya is thinking that I am helpless, then what power we have? So only when we consider ourselves helpless, then we can actually be able to have Krishna's mercy come through us. When we think that we are very powerful, then only our little power goes through. But when we become humble, that power of Krishna comes through. So, today is a day to be very grateful to this personality, Advaita Acharya. Selfless prayers brought the Lord down. So as I was telling you, Lord Chaitanya would always respect Advaita Acharya a lot. And Advaita Acharya in his heart, because he was a genuine Vaishnava, he would always be thinking, why is Lord Chaitanya respecting me? He is not treating me as a servant. So one day, what Advaita Acharya did was, in his house in Shantipur, he started to preach Mayavad philosophy. Philosophy that God has no form, Krishna's form is illusion and all this. And the news went to Lord Chaitanya that Advaita Acharya is preaching Mayavad philosophy. So Advaita Acharya was like the head of all the Vaishnavas. Even before Lord Chaitanya came, he was like the head. All the Vaishnavas would go and take shelter at the house of Advaita Acharya. So when Lord Chaitanya heard this, he became so angry, so angry. He went to the house of Advaita Acharya, and when Advaita Acharya was preaching this Mayavad philosophy, he caught his hair, dragged him from the Vyasasan, and started to kick him. And Advaita Acharya's wife, Sita Thakurani, she was telling Lord Chaitanya, he's an old man, he will die. Leave him. Lord Chaitanya is kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. And Lord Chaitanya is saying, for this you brought me from the spiritual world. I was in the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. You call Tapan, but that's better. He's outside. Just 1 second.
But we can hear, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you all can hear. The ones in front can't hear.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. We'll sort it out. He's not there. No, pa. He has to come. Can I call him? No, Appa, you don't do it. it will, something else will happen. You don't do. ठीक है. Yeah. Sorry. So, Lord Chaitanya was telling Advaita Acharya that you called me from the spiritual world. अपन नहीं पकड़ा है. He will see. So Lord Chaitanya was telling Advaita Acharya that like, increase it slightly. Yeah. So you called me from this. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. God, there's some issue. Just put it off. Just put it off. Put off the main. There's some issue. There's, it's getting short हो रहा है कुछ तो. ठीक है. We'll manage it without this. I'll speak in this voice. You all can listen. So AC not on. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya told Advaita Acharya that you called me from the spiritual world, but then this is what you're doing. You're preaching this Mayavad philosophy. And he started to beat Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya was so happy. He was in ecstasy. Finally, you treated me as a servant. So this is the mood of Advaita Acharya. No sense of ego. Lord Vishnu himself, he also wants to be the servant. Like we have Nityantaradashi coming now. So these are the moods of great avatars, that they are eager to be servants. Great souls. Vishnu Tattva, what we're discussing in Harinam Chintamani. And we Jiva Tattva want to become Vishnu Tattva. We want to become the masters. That is the illusion actually. So Advaita Acharya is telling all of us that the greatest joy is in becoming servants. So Advaita Acharya was feeling painful that he's being worshipped and respected. And when Lord Chaitanya treated him as a servant, he was really in ecstasy. So that is the real joy of even these avatars of the Lord. So then finally after the sannyas of Lord Chaitanya, he comes and settles in Jagannath Puri. Every year, Advaita Acharya would lead a group of devotees from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. Every year they would come. And again, Lord Chaitanya would meet Advaita Acharya. They would have so much love. And the kirtans of Advaita Acharya, when he would cry out the holy names of Krishna, as I told you, it would be like roaring of lions. That was his power. In fact, there is one Ashtakam called Advaita Ashtakam, glorification of Advaita Acharya. So there it is explained that this was the power of Advaita Acharya. He would roar like a lion crying out the holy names of Krishna. And then finally, this another beautiful pastime. One time, because Advaita Acharya was like a top class Brahman of those days, so all the Brahmanas also would respect him. So one day he was doing a Shraddha ceremony at his house, and after Shraddha you feed the Brahmanas. So all top class Brahmanas came there, but Advaita Acharya gave the first food to Haridas Thakur, whose book we are reading now, Glories of Haridas Thakur. So Advaita Acharya certified that Haridas Thakur is higher than any top class Brahmana because he is continuously chanting the holy names of Krishna. So Advaita Acharya and Haridas shared great love and respect for each other. So if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find so much different relationships they had. Sometimes fun, sometimes jokes. Nityanand Prabhu, we all know the story of Jagai and Madai, isn't it? So when Lord Chaitanya tells Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, go and preach to the people in Navadvip. So Nityanand Prabhu goes straight to Jagai Madai. And Jagai Madai are so drunk, they come to kill Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. Nityanand Prabhu is young, Haridas Thakur is an old person. So somehow Haridas Thakur and Nityanand Prabhu run away and come back. And then Haridas Thakur meets Advaita Acharya and tells, see this crazy guy, Nityananda, he is going and preaching to Jagai and Madai. And Advaita Acharya is laughing and laughing and telling Haridas Thakur, what do you expect? One drunkard will associate with other drunkards. Nityanand Prabhu is drunk in completely love of Krishna, and those are drunkards. So these two drunkards will meet together. Why are you getting in between them? You come out. And then Advaita Acharya says, take it from me, because Nityanand Prabhu has decided to deliver Jagai and Madai, they will be delivered. So in this way, Advaita Acharya and Nityanand Prabhu would have different pastimes of fun and joke. One time, Advaita Acharya invited Lord Chaitanya and the devotees and Nityanand Prabhu to his house for prasad. And he's serving prasad to Nityanand Prabhu. And Advaita Acharya is giving him rice. Nityanand Prabhu is eating it. Give me more, give me more. Advaita Acharya is feeding him so much. And still Nityanand Prabhu is not satisfied. And Nityanand Prabhu says, you are calling me to your house for prasad. And you don't even cook proper prasad. There's no quantity. It's not filling my stomach. And he takes some rice and throws it in anger. And that one rice, that remnant falls on Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya starts to dance in ecstasy. This was the love that they had between devotees. That is why in Jagannath Puri, the first time Prataprudra Maharaj, the king of Orissa, sees the Sankirtan, the devotees of Navadvip coming to Jagannath Puri and having Sankirtan together. He is shocked to see the Sankirtan. He has seen Sankirtan before, but then he says that this is Prem Sankirtan, because there's so much loving relation among devotees. And then finally, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains how Lord Chaitanya leaves the material world and goes to the spiritual world also. Advaita Acharya sends Lord Chaitanya a letter, and he tells him that in the marketplace, the demand is over. There is enough supply now, so there is no need of more material. You can depart. So indirectly, he gives a message to Lord Chaitanya saying that you have come to distribute this product, holy name of Krishna. Enough has been distributed. Now your Leela is done. And then Lord Chaitanya says, that Advaita Acharya called me. Because of him, I came here. And he's also given the message now that my Leela is done. In this way, Lord Chaitanya leaves back to the spiritual world. So today we can pray to Advaita Acharya to give us great strength in the path of bhakti. He is like the original Acharya, the original personality because of which Lord Chaitanya, the Sankirtan movement, everything comes. So we are all sitting here discussing Harinam Chintamani, discussing all these things. We owe a lot of gratitude to Advaita Acharya. And something interesting is last year, exactly during Advaita Acharya's appearance day, we inaugurated our ashram in Sharam. So technically today, according to Tithi, we are 1 year done. 1 year of our ashram done. So we all need a lot of strength from Advaita Acharya. We can all pray to him. So with having said that, we will actually get into our discussion. Harinam Chintamani. ये शॉर्ट सर्किट हो रहा है, शॉर्ट सर्किट हो रहा है. तुम देखो हम चालू रखते हैं. Okay, so last week we couldn't do the class because we were in the Hampi Yatra. So because there's been a 1 week gap and the subject matter is very technical, So, नहीं, what's the problem है? इलेक्ट्रिशियन को बुलाना पड़ेगा, पूरा चला जाएगा. नहीं, स्विच बंद कर दो. हाँ, ड्रिप होगा अभी. कोई नहीं, और एक माइक डाल के देखो. Okay, so just to recap quickly, we were discussing the first chapter called the glories of the holy name. So what we discussed till now, we started with this discussion of how Haridas Thakur explains Krishna has various energies, right? Various Shakti. Out of that, three principal energies, which are the internal energy, which is called Chit Vaibhav, the external energy, which is called Achit Vaibhav, and the Jiva Tattva, living entity. Okay? So what comes under spiritual powers? Chit Vaibhav? Anyone? What comes under spiritual power? Even online?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Under Chit Vaibhav is the yes, the Vaikuntha, the spiritual worlds, the names of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the forms of Krishna. These all come under the spiritual power. Okay? So, then Haridas Thakur explained how all the spiritual aspects of Krishna, Vishnu Tattva, are all Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. We discussed this part. Whereas the demigods, including Shiva, Brahma, are mixed goodness. Okay? So he defined these two things, Mishra Sattva and Shuddha Sattva. Then he explains Achit Vaibhav. Achit Vaibhav or the Maya Tattva, material energy. What is material energy? What comes under material energy? Anyone quickly?
14 planetary system, Prabhu.
Yes, the 14 planetary systems come under material energy. So material energy means made of 5 gross elements. Pancha Bhuta, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankar, Nam. The 5 elements and then mind, intelligence, ego. All this comes under the material energy. That means all the 84 lakh species, all the bodies and the 14 planetary systems. Okay. So then the next is the spiritual, the Jiva Shakti. Jiva Vaibhav. So these are the living entities. So we saw he defines them that they are tiny fragmental parts of Krishna, spiritual in nature. There is no end to the numbers of individual souls. And they are all motivated by the desire to enjoy. Ananta Sukha Tara Prayojan. They are all motivated by the desire to enjoy. So then he defined Mukta Jiva and Baddha Jiva. So Mukta Jiva is one who finds pleasure in association with Krishna. Krishna, say Sukha Hetu Yara Krishnera Bharila. He is finding Sukha but in association with Krishna. That is Mukta Jiva. And who is Baddha Jiva? One who finds pleasure other than Krishna. He's turned his face away from Krishna. Bahir Mukha Jiva. Correct? He thinks that he can be happy without Krishna, independently of Krishna. Okay. So, so such people who have turned their face away from Krishna, they come into the material world. Sai Sabba Nitya Krishna Bahirmukha Haila Devi Dhame Maya Krita Sharira Paila. They enter into the material world and they get one of the 84 lakh species. And in this way, they fashion by material nature and they keep roaming in this 14 planetary systems, right? Kabu Swarga Ute, Kabu Niraya Padiya, 84 Laksha Yoni, Bhoge Brahmiya. So with the desire to enjoy, he keeps moving around. Probably I'll be happy here, like that, it keeps moving around. So then the next part, which we had started to discuss, and part of it we discussed is, even though these Baddha Jiva who are there in the material world have turned away from Krishna, still Krishna is merciful to them. So the whole discussion now is about Baddha Jiva, because Mukta Jiva is there. We are all in this category now. So the discussion is about our story. right? So even though we have come in this material world, turned our face away from Krishna, still Krishna is merciful to us. How Krishna is merciful to us? Krishna fulfills the desires of all living entities. He's trying to fulfill everyone's desire. So in what way? So the first thing he explains is auspicious material activities or karma kand. The first way Krishna shows mercy is those who want to be happy in this material world. So Krishna gives them karma kand in the Vedas. So Krishna tells them, "ठीक है, you want to be happy in the material world, you have material desires, you do these yajna." So he explains, "Sei sukha prapti upaya shubha karma yata niramile dharma yajna yoga homa vrata." So he created dharma, yajna, homa, vrata. All these are good activities, shubha karya, so that we can become materially happy. So those who want to be happy in the material world, Krishna has created all these various parts of the Vedas only. These are all part of the Vedic system only. But Haridas Thakur is very clear. Sei sab shubha karma sada jada maya. But all these auspicious activities are all material. So one of the offense is equating the holy name with material auspicious activities. You cannot equate. You can't say that doing a vrata or doing charity and chanting the holy name is the same. It is an offense. Because doing all these material auspicious activities are material only. You will get better happiness, but it is not spiritual. So at maximum, you can get heavenly planets, right? So that's what he explains here. So now, people who are into karma kand, is there any way they can come to bhakti? What is the way? By association with devotees. The way to rise above that condition, if by associating with devotees, kabu yadi sadhu sange janite se pare. So if very fortunately such a person associates with devotees, then he will understand Ami Jiva Krishna Das Yaya Maya Pare. Then he will understand that Are, I'm not supposed to enjoy in this material world. Ami Krishna Das, I'm supposed to be a servant of Krishna, and I'm supposed to go beyond this realm of Maya. Correct? So that's what he explains about Karma Kanda. So people who want to be happy in the material world, Krishna creates Karma Kand. And for such very fortunate people, if they associate with devotees, they can shift their gear to Bhakti Yoga. The next he explains what is Krishna's mercy. One, Krishna's mercy is for people who want to be happy in the material world, Krishna has created Karma Kand. Now, for people who want to merge into the Supreme, Krishna has created Jnana Kand. Jnana Kand Brahma Laya Sukha. The happiness of merging into Brahman. Because when person becomes frustrated with the struggles here, Arigini Mayara Yantrana Matra Jani Mukti Labe Yatnavan Tini Hana Gyani. A person who becomes aware that Maya brings only suffering and who therefore struggles to attain liberation is a Jnani. So when a person experiences the suffering of material desires, and he understands that I'm fed up. The only thing I want is liberation, mukti. So such a person becomes a Jnani, and then Krishna has created Jnana Kanda for them. Okay, now you can come to this Jnana Kanda section, and you will attain liberation. So, se sab loketa janya tumi dayamai. So for such people who want liberation, Krishna is merciful. You see, Krishna has not closed the doors for anyone. Krishna has kept the doors open for everyone. Okay, you don't want to come to the spiritual world. What do you want? You want liberation? Fine, no problem. Krishna says, "Se sab lokera janya tumi dayamai." Even for people who want liberation, Krishna is very merciful. Jnana Kanda Brahma Vidya Diyacha Nishchayi. For such people, Krishna has given the Jnana Kanda section of the Vedas. So people who study this, they attain liberation. But then he explains that such liberation is stunted liberation. It's not complete liberation. What is complete liberation? Jivere Swarup Hoi Krishnere Nityadas. The complete state of liberation is when we go to the spiritual world and become a servant of Krishna. So in the state of liberation where you merge into the Supreme, there is no servanthood. How can you serve? So that's why it's called stunted liberation. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, what is Brahman? He explains that Brahman is the effulgence that comes from the body of Krishna. So this side of the Virija Nadi, the causal ocean, one side is the material world, other side is the spiritual world. And that spiritual world, there is a light that permeates the entire spiritual world. That light is Brahma Jyoti. So then he explains how both the karmis and jnanis, both of them are bahirmukha. They have turned their face away from Krishna because they are not fully devoted to Krishna. They still have selfish desires. They never taste the sweetness of service to Krishna. Karmi jnani ubaye e Krishna bahirmukha kabu nai aswadaya Krishna dhasya sukha. Like we were discussing the story of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was longing for that sweetness of becoming a servant of Krishna. Krishna dhasya sukha. The karmis and jnanis, they don't experience that. They experience Brahma sukha. To become one with the Brahman, that sukha jnani experiences, but that sukha is very little compared to the sukha of becoming a servant of Krishna. So we'll continue from this point on. Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. So till now he explained Sukriti, one kind of Sukriti is pious activity. Definition of Sukriti is pious activity. So when you do give some charity or do something, you get Sukriti, pious activity. But then with pious activity, you don't get Bhakti. Like this famous story is there. The disciples of Srila Prabhupada asked Srila Prabhupada, what great pious activities that we did that we have got your association and Bhakti? Prabhupada said, no pious activity. Because by doing pious activity, no one can get Bhakti. The criteria only doesn't match. So to think that, this place is a very, very pious people live in this place. So I will go and preach there, because they will become devotees very fast. No, doesn't work like that. So bhakti you get not because of good sukriti, but bhakti unmukhi sukriti. That means sukriti achieved due to bhakti. So ultimately bhakti comes only through bhakti only. So he says, Bhaktira unmukhi se sukriti pradhan tara phale jiva bhakta sadhu sangapan. Devotional activities performed by the one who is eager for devotional service are the best of pious deeds. Their fruit is that the soul attains association of devotees. So instead of doing so-called pious activities, what we should do? We should perform devotional activities. Bhaktira unmukhi say sukriti pradhan. So that's why when if you give food to people, that's a charity. But if you give prasad to people, then that person who's eating prasad, his bhakti has started. His bhakti sukriti has started. And slowly when that bhakti sukriti keeps adding up, then he will actually take to association of devotees. Tara phale jiva bhakta sadhu sangapan. So the result of normal pious activities is good result or heavenly birth. That is the result. But the result of pious activities due to bhakti is that one gets association of devotees. Shraddhavan hoye Krishna bhakta sanga kare name ruchi jiva daya bhakti pata dhare. A faithful person who associates with Lord Krishna's devotees attains a taste for the holy name. He becomes merciful to other souls. He walks on the path of devotional service. So this is the process. So when we unknowingly serve devotees or have prasad, in some way associate with devotees, then that sukriti comes. And then when that sukriti reaches a certain level, faith comes. Shraddhavan. That faith comes. And then with that faith, what do we do? Ado Shraddha tata sadhu sangha. The next step is sadhu sangha. Krishna bhakta sangha kare. We'll associate with devotees. And then bhajana kriya, Gradually we'll develop taste for the holy name, Name Ruchi, Jiva Daya, Bhakti Pada Dhare. So in this way, a person will walk the path of Bhakti. So it all starts with Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, unknowing devotional service. And then gradually it adds up. So the path of Bhakti is such that even if someone is in the lower species, if in some way contacts devotees, his Bhakti Sukriti starts. Like we do Nagar Sankirtan, and there are so many dogs on the street. They also get benefit. If you remember how this book started, the book started with this question only of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking Haridas Thakur, how will the fallen conditioned souls get delivered? How they will get easily delivered. So that means even when you do Sankirtan, there are men who are hearing it, plus there are so many trees, so many animals, they are hearing it. That living entity who's in that body, his bhakti is also started. That Sukriti is coming. And gradually at some point, he will take up to the path of bhakti. That Adho Shraddha will come. So next he explains, Karmi o Jnanira Prati Kripaya Gauna Patta Vidhan. So what we are discussing? We are discussing how Krishna is merciful even for those who have left him and come to the material world. So what is Krishna's mercy? Out of mercy to the karmis and jnanis, the Lord creates the path of indirect devotional service. So now he is coming to explain two paths. One is indirect devotional service, indirect path, and one is a direct path. So for the karmis and jnanis, Krishna doesn't close the door. Krishna says, take the indirect path. You will come to me finally, but go this way. And for those who want to take direct path, the direct path is also explained in this book. We will see in this chapter only it is explained. So, Dayara Sagara Tumi Jivera Ishwara Karmi Jnani Bahirmukha Udare Tatpara. O Supreme Lord, you are an ocean of mercy for the fallen souls. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu. Dayara Sagara Tumi Jivera Ishwara. So Krishna is very merciful. Krishna is always scheming ways in which living entities can come back. Karmi Jnani Bahirmukha Udare Tatpar. So Krishna is very eager to deliver not only the devotees, but even the karmis and jnanis who have turned their face away from Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a footnote here. Pious deeds are of three kinds. So he explains three kinds of punya karma, sukriti, karma, jnana, bhakti. So there are three kinds of pious activities. Generally, our definition is pious activity means only one kind. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining there are three kinds of pious activities. One is karma, jnana, bhakti. So pious activities due to karma, pious activities due to jnana kanda, and pious activities due to bhakti. Three kinds of pious activities. The first two bring the results, bring the fruits of work and attainment of impersonal liberation as their result. So if you have pious activity due to karma, you will get the fruits of your work. You will get good birth, good education, beautiful body, heavenly planet. These all you will get for sure. Like Srila Prabhupada would go to America and Prabhupada would tell the Americans, all of you all have done a lot of pious activities. That is why you all are born in a place where there is a lot of money. All of you all are very beautiful. Pious activities. But then there is no guarantee that next life they will get same birth in America. That's no guarantee, isn't it? So because of pious activities, you may get good birth, lot of money and all that. And due to pious activities, due to jnana, one may attain liberation. The last kind of pious deeds brings faith in pure devotional service. Okay? So if you do punya due to karma, so if you do punya due to karma, you will get good birth, heavenly planet. Due to jnana, you will get liberation, mukti. But if you do bhakti sukriti, if you gather bhakti sukriti, what you will get? What do you get? Faith in devotional service. Faith in pure devotional service. Adho Shraddha. So when you keep gathering bhakti sukriti, you will get ado shraddha, faith in pure devotional service. So that the bhakti that we are following in ISKCON, in the Gaudiya Vaishnav line, is Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, Uttam Bhakti. So even though our bhakti is not perfected, but the process of bhakti is completely pure. Our faith is pure, right? We all have faith that only Krishna is going to help us. That faith is very pure. To the unknowing activities of pure devotional service seem to be ordinary pious deeds. Oh, sorry. So he explains that to the people who don't understand, they may think that activities of bhakti are also punya karya. They may equate. But those who have faith understand, no, the equation is not correct. You can't equate worshipping some person with worshipping Krishna. You can't equate karma kand with bhakti. It may appear to be same. We may be also offering arti, they may also offer arti, but not on the same level. We may be chanting Krishna's holy name, they may be chanting some other mantra, but there is no equation. Yeah. One is atonement, one is fulfillment of desire. But for bhakti, we are doing it for Krishna's pleasure. So then we'll continue. Karma pate jnana pate patika ye jana tahara uddhara lagi tomara yatana. You are very keen to deliver the souls who walk on the paths of karma and jnana. Karma pate jnana pate patika ye jana. So even though someone may choose the indirect path, what is the indirect path? The karma pata, the path of karma, or jnana pata, the path of jnana, still Krishna is very keen to deliver them. Say patikera mangala chintiya gauna bhakti pata eka rakila kariya. Thinking of how to benefit the souls who walk on these paths, you created the path of indirect devotional service. So Krishna is thinking, how do I benefit the people who are walking the path of karma and jnana? So Krishna has created indirect devotional service. Gauna bhakti. One is mukhya bhakti. Mukhya bhakti is where bhakti is the predominant activity. And that's the only activity. There is no mixture. Jnana karma adi anavritam. Without any jnana and karma. The other bhakti is called mishra bhakti. Mixed devotional service. Or gauna bhakti or indirect devotional service. Where there is mixture of jnana and karma. So Krishna has created indirect path for those who can't follow the pure path. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in the footnote, by following the activities of Varnashram, one pleases Lord Krishna. In this way, the path of karma is the path of indirect devotional service. So, like for the karmis, Krishna has created Varnashram system. So, by doing Varnashram, gradually you please Krishna. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Like this conversation is there between Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is asking Ramananda Rai, you tell me what is the highest, what is the goal of life? So Ramananda Rai is explaining one thing. He explains that the goal of life is Varnashram. So Lord Chaitanya says, Eho Bharya. This is external. This is not the goal of life. And then he goes one step ahead. Explains how Ananya Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti is the highest. So people who can't walk the direct path, Krishna has created this indirect path. Therefore, while preaching also, we should not, Krishna explains in the Gita also, if someone is walking the indirect path, we need not criticize them. No? We should encourage them, okay, keep walking, you will at least reach. Because if you criticize them, what they are doing also, they will stop. So at least they are walking that path, let them walk. Karmira pakshe karmera gaunam bhakti pata. So being merciful to the karmis, Krishna has created karma mishra bhakti. For the karmis, the path of devotional service mixed with karma. It's called karma mishra bhakti. Mishra bhakti means mixed bhakti. Karma mishra bhakti means bhakti that is mixed with karma. You do little bhakti to Krishna and little karma kand is also there. It's called karma mishra bhakti. So Krishna has created this. So what does it, how does it practically translate? How does karma mishra bhakti look? He is writing here. Karmi varnashrame thaki sadhu sanga kari karma maje bhakti kare gauna patta dhari. Following the varnashram dharma and associating with saintly persons, A karmi walks the path of indirect devotional service mixed with karma. So for a karmi, generally for them the most important duty is varnashram. They feel that work is worship. Do your duties properly. Grihastha, brahmacharya, whatever, do that duty well, and by doing the duty, you'll attain Krishna. That's their understanding. So for such people, Krishna says, okay, you take the path of indirect devotional service, karma mishra bhakta. You do varnashram. Along with that, you associate with devotees. So slowly you will walk this indirect path. Tara krita karma sabha hridaya shodhiya tirohita hoya shraddha biche sthana diya. By performing the pious activities of karma, he purifies his heart. When the impurities have gone, the seed of faith is planted within him. So by walking the path of indirect devotional service, because you're doing varnashram, slowly your heart gets little purified. And then because you're associating with devotees, the seed of bhakti is planted. It becomes easier. That's how. So then he explains the path of devotional service mixed with jnana. So he is explaining indirect path now before he goes to the direct path. So indirect path of two kinds. One is karma mishra bhakti and the other is jnana mishra bhakti. Jnanira gaunapata, the path of devotional service mixed with jnana. Jnani sukritira bale bhaktera kripai ananya bhakti te shraddha anayase pai. By a devotee's mercy, a pious jnani easily attains faith in pure devotional service. So again, what is important to understand here is, in both the places, associating with devotees is mentioned, right? So it is not that any karmi will become a devotee. No. A person who is following karma, along with associating with devotees, there is hope that he will switch to Ananya Bhakti. And a jnani, by the mercy of a devotee, Bhaktera Kripai, if someone is following the path of Jnana, the Jnana Kanda, but he gets mercy of a devotee somehow, then such a person can attain faith in pure devotional service. His faith changes slowly. So, Bhaktivedanta Thakur writes in the footnote, following the path of Jnana, where one may sometimes have the association of devotees, is another path of indirect devotional service. One is karma, varnashram, the other is jnana. You follow jnana and associate with devotees little. Discussing with Ramananda Rai the way to attain pure devotional service, Lord Chaitanya called these paths of indirect devotional service external. He did not like them. So Ramananda Rai is explaining all these paths to Lord Chaitanya. Varna ashram is the best. Lord Chaitanya said, come on, speak something higher. Eho bhaya, this is external. Then he explains this. Ramananda Rai tells him, the path of jnana, those who are looking after mukti, they are the highest. Lord Chaitanya says, no, it is external. Speak something higher. Tumi bala mora dasa mayara vipake chahe anya tuchcha phala chadiya amake. Oh Lord, you say, my servant has now fallen into the clutches of Maya, turning away from me. He now desires petty and unimportant things. So, how the indirect path works here, Haridas Thakur is explaining the mindset of the Supreme Lord, how the Lord thinks. So when someone takes to the indirect path, either the path of karma or jnana, along with little bhakti, so Krishna is thinking, my servant, ultimately everyone is servant of Krishna, he's fallen into the clutches of Maya. And he's forgotten me and he's running after petty things. What are the petty things? Ami jani tara yate haya sumangal bhukti mukti chadiya dei bhakti fal. I know what is truly good for him. I will make him turn away from sense gratification and impersonal liberation. I will give him devotional service. So how Krishna is merciful to these people, even if they take to the indirect path, they are doing little varnashram, little jnana kand, and little bhakti, associating with devotees. Krishna will think, he's my servant. He's wasting time in bhukti mukti, in sense enjoyment and bhukti. I will make him turn away, and I will give him devotional service. So Krishna intervenes and slowly changes his faith. That's how Krishna works. Gauna patera prakriya, the way to walk on the path of indirect devotional service. So, is there any questions still here? Chanting of the names is spiritual, yeah. 100%. So we'll come to that. That's how he builds it. After he explains the indirect path, Haridas Thakur explains how the direct path is the chanting of the holy names. That's how he explains. So this chapter is called Glories of the Holy Name. He's building up to that point. Yeah. Liberated means here they merge into Brahman. Yeah. They don't enter into the spiritual world. They are like in the periphery of the spiritual world. They are there but still not there. You know, they are hanging in the periphery. Exactly. Exactly. Correct. Hmm. Yeah. So further bank means he is speaking about two banks. So further bank, the bank is this side is we know material world. That bank, the further bank, the spiritual world, it shines there. Yeah. Correct.
And then talking about the material world as the father bank in 54.
No. So basically, Virja Nadi, this bank, because he's speaking from our point of view, this bank is the material world. On the other bank, on the other side of the Virja Nadi is the spiritual world where Brahman effulgence is there. That's how it is. Yeah. The impersonalist. Yeah, technically, actually, that's what it means. They will not come back. But Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada repeatedly quotes in many places that Aryurya Prichena. Yeah, Prabhupada explains that such people fall down. You know, eventually they fall down. So the understanding is, yes, there is bliss definitely, even though technically we say that, these three aspects, Satchid Ananda, eternal, knowledge, bliss. So generally the way it's explained is in Brahman platform, there is eternity. Eternity is there. But the experience of bliss and knowledge is not there to that extent. In the Paramatma feature, there is eternity and knowledge. But in the Bhagavan feature, only bliss is there fully. So even though technically we say this, but in Brahman level also there is abundant bliss. There is bliss. It's called Brahmanand. There is an experience of bliss. No, individuality is there. Individuality is never lost. Individuality can never become zero. You know, it appears that the Mayavadi's understanding is they want to lose their individuality, but that technically can never happen. So living entities are eternally separate entities and they will eternally remain so. So it just appears, like Prabhupada gives this example, a green parrot enters into a green tree. It appears that he has merged, but the parrot will never merge. To our naked eyes, it may appear that it has merged, but its individuality remains there. So that is the reason Prabhupada explains many places that such people come down. So that's one understanding. But on another understanding, the definition of eternity is of liberation is once gone, you don't come. But one thing is clear that that is not like in 53. Se vidya mayavad kariya ashray jada mukta hoye brahme jiva hoye lay. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, they attain a stunted kind of liberation. So even if you call it liberation, it is a stunted kind of liberation, not perfect liberation. That is very clear. It's a liberation. Yes. They're permanently there. Like many years back, I had heard a lecture of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada explains this in this way, that a mother gives birth to a child. The understanding is that, you know, they can have reciprocal relation. But if the child comes and tells the mother that, no, I'm just fed up, I want to enter into your body again, the mother can't do it, but Krishna can do it. But the mother will not be happy. The mother wants that the child remains individual and they have a relation. So Krishna may allow people to merge into him, you know, that kind of liberation. But Krishna is not happy with that, because Krishna has created all of us to remain separate and become one with him in service, not lose our individuality per se. So that's why it's stunted liberation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
That's not ultimative. Yeah. Yes, Param Dayal Prabhu.
Prabhu, actually, Advaita Acharya himself is a incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadasiva. Why he waited for Lord Chaitanya, Prabhu? He can also lead the movement, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the whole idea, that Advaita Acharya felt that Krishna, the original personality, has to come. So that is his mood, where he's feeling that I am powerless, basically. So this is the mood of Vaishnavas, where they feel that, you know, I don't have any power. So like that saying is, you know, I think it's Radhana Maharaj's quote. You know, people who are actually great consider themselves very humble, and people who are very insignificant consider themselves very great. So the sign of greatness is they don't consider themselves great. That is why we are celebrating appearance day of Advaita Acharya. Na? So that is the greatness.
Okay, Prabhu.
Anything else? Okay, so let's end for today. So next Thursday is Nityananda Yodashi, but we will not celebrate. We were supposed to do it in one hall in Panjim and all, but because of this COVID thing, we said we'll not do it. So we'll celebrate on 28th, the Sunday after that in Shanau. So Shanau is like an open place, you know, there's no worry. So 25th, we'll not have any celebration in the evening, but if possible, y'all can think about it. If possible, if all of y'all can try to come down for Mangalarti in Shanau, or even if not Mangalarti, a little after that, at 6, lunchtime, though everyone is working, Napa. So probably at 6 in the morning or something, we can sit and chant rounds there nicely. At least the morning part, we can try to be together for Nityananda Yodashi, if possible. 5 o'clock is the Mangalarti. Yeah. So if y'all can make it for the Mangalarti for Nityananda Yodashi, great. Even if not, say 6, 6:30, you know, if you can come, you know, we can chant some rounds together. Probably we can have some Bhagavatam, small Bhagavatam there. That can happen, it'd be nice. So because Nityananda Yodashi is a nice day, because we're not having a program in the evening, at least some time where we can actually meet up. So you can think about it and let us know. Afternoon. 28th will be afternoon. Regular Sunday feast timing, 11 to 1. So we'll keep it at the same time. Abhishek will do. Yeah. So there is just little section. I think the next week we will be completing the first chapter. We have come to 66. 66. We have come to verse number 66, page 35. So next week, whatever it is, longer, shorter, whatever it is, we'll complete the first chapter. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, it could be that the page numbers don't match. Yeah. Yeah. The verse number will match for sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Before we end today, We can sing one bhajan about Advaita Acharya. So if you all can wait online, you all please do wait. We'll sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya. दया करो मोरे. So we can pray to Advaita Acharya. So today the mic is not working. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
No, not Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. Yes, but who?
Prabhuji, Advaita, usually we follow the Advaita Sampradaya. Why he is named as Advaita?
Oh, why he is named as Advaita? He is named as Advaita because he is non-different than Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, what is that song? It's supposed to be this only actually. It is that only. Yeah, correct. Page 60. I mean, online, I don't know. If you have the song book, you all can sing. Who would like to sing? Wait, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So Radha Prem Mataji will sing, but only thing is we don't have a mic here. We'll Mataji, you can come down ahead. Page 60. You can come here. So the camera. It's okay. I'll adjust it.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More
Tum bin ke doyalu Jagat sansare Tum bin ke doyalu Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara Patita pavana hetu Samapatita Prabhu Napai Meyara Samapatita Prabhu Napai Mahaprabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi
Mahaprabhu Nityananda Premananda
Advaita Gosai Chaitanya Nita Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sandhavage Narottama Dasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Tum Vinite Dolalu Jagat Sansare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Gopinath Prabhu Pada Jaya
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jaya.